So what does it actually take for somebody to achieve a goal, something they set out to accomplish and actually make it happen? I believe this is different for everybody, but I do believe that there is some really good frameworks that can be implemented. I do also believe that if you're checking out this episode today, that probably means that you have once tried to achieve a goal and failed. Guess what? Welcome to the club. Failure is totally normal. It's actually a good thing. It means that you took action and you tried something, because there are, for as many people out there who have failed at goals, there are 10 times as many people who have never even begun the journey. The reason why I am discussing this today is because I'm going to take you on my journey as we go on through my fitness goals. And I am going to document this process because I think for somebody who is teaching daily rituals and daily routine building and making that such a fundamental part of my personal development, why not show firsthand how you can achieve a goal through implementing something inside of a daily routine? For instance, my morning routine is when I work out. So my goal that I'm going to be setting is I'm going to be gaining some muscle. This episode is going to be broken down into 4 different sections. And for the first section, we're going to go over how I actually structure a goal. If you just heard me say I'm going to gain some more muscle, and it is not your first rodeo in this world of trying to set goals and achieve them, and or productivity, personal development, time management, you may be saying, that's a really vague goal. I think this guy's got to get his priorities in order. If you're saying that, you're right. This first section is all about the SMART-er goal framework. So if you're saying, oh dude, I know what the SMART goal framework is. I've done this in some team building exercise a million times. I understand that, and we are going to review some of that quickly, but we are going to talk about the SMART-er goal framework, which is my custom SMART-er goal framework, because there are other SMART-er goal frameworks out there. So let's buzz through this really fast, as many of you probably know what at least the SMART goal framework is. You have to set a S-specific goal. So what do I want to do? Well, I want to gain 20 pounds of muscle. The reason I chose 20 pounds is because if I'm in a 500 calorie surplus, bear with me for a moment as I geek out for a second. If I'm in a 500 calorie surplus, I'm expected, 500 calories based on my calculations, I'm expected to gain, on average, a half a pound a week. If I have 9 months or so to get there, I'll gain about 2 pounds a month, right? So do the math, and it basically puts me at 170 by the beginning of April. So that is my calculation. I can move it and keep adjusting as I go on, but that's the reason why I did that. M for SMART has to stand for measurable. So is my goal measurable? 20 pounds. I step on the scale? Sure. Now, be specific though. 20 pounds of muscle. Here's the issue. If I step on the scale and I only gain 10 pounds, did I achieve my goal? Maybe. I have to measure how much muscle I've gained versus how much fat I've lost, because inevitably I may lose some fat through this process of gaining muscle. A stands for attainable. Is this attainable? Can I really gain 20 pounds of muscle? Yeah, probably. I have been 20 pounds, even probably 24 pounds heavier than I am now. It just was full of other flabbiness. So it's definitely doable. The next thing is is it relevant? So R standing for relevant. Is this relevant to my fitness journey and my health journey? Absolutely, because to be healthier and to be stronger means you really need more muscle, and you need to retain that muscle as you get older. So, me being 34 right now, it's a really good age to pack on a good amount of size and good amount of muscle and try to retain that for the next 20 or 30 years. T is the most important, is time bound. In my opinion, setting a goal date is really, really important. So when do I want to achieve this by? For me, I'm going to set a goal of 9 months. So on March 31st, the very end of March, it'll be 9 months for me, is the specific date that I want to step on that scale, and I want to weigh 170, as of today, 171. And that is whether or not I know if I've hit that goal, if I've hit it within that time frame. If we set a goal and it doesn't have an end date, we will never achieve it, because we could always tell ourselves in the moment, we'll get there. Yeah, we'll get there eventually. Yeah, we'll get there. And then all of a sudden 5 years go by and we haven't gotten there. Now, ER, this is where it is my version of how I structure the SMART goal framework is actually after the fact. So E stands for evaluate and R stands for revise. So it's pretty simple, right? E, if we hit it or not, what did we do? If I gained my 20 pounds of muscle, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? Was I eating enough calories? Was I eating enough protein? What other macronutrients did my daily diet look like? How was my training regime? What did I do to shock and confuse my muscles? What did I do to switch it up? All these different questions, right? And then, of course, we revise it. So once I figure out what I did do well and I didn't do well, I'll make a revised plan, of course, and go through the SMART goal framework again. So any goal you need to set, you definitely have to run through this SMART goal framework. The second section of this episode today is going to be revolved around the schedule. And this is also very important because we have to plan on when we're actually going to work on our goal. For me, it's pretty simple. I'm going to be working on my goal throughout one of my routines, which is my morning routine or the AM routine. And this is when I'm going to work out. So I do have to be very diligent to make sure I don't creep into other things in my routine to cut into my workout, right? So 25 minutes, 30 minutes. No, it's got to be at least 45 minutes. And if throughout time I can actually hack it and get some more time in, that'd be perfect. The question you have to ask yourself when you do set this schedule is it realistic? Am I going to be able to get to the gym every single morning for 45 minutes, 6 days a week? Is that realistic? If I'm scheduled too tight, maybe there might be too many distractions and things come up, and ultimately other priorities, right? So if your family is more of a priority than your fitness goals, then of course that's going to take precedence over that. For me, in my example today, in talking with you, I know for a fact that that's a possibility and a very realistic goal, is because I have pretty much a whole gym down here in my basement, and I've been working out very consistently for many, many years in my morning routine. So I know that that's totally doable for me. But here's the other part of my goal here. And to gain 20 pounds of muscle, my nutrition has to be really on point. I have to be in a calorie surplus every single day. That means I have to figure out my BMI and do that calculation. And as I progress, I have to change that. And I have to figure out how many calories a day I have to eat, how much protein I have to eat. So there's the next question, is that for me, I have to decide, okay, is this doable? Because the schedule is a little bit more broad. I have to be eating a lot more. So I have to figure out when I'm going to be eating, how I'm going to prep my meals. Can I cook while my daughter is eating her meals? Is that possible? Right? All these things. And that ultimately will, kind of come from a little bit of trial and error, but the first 2 weeks really are part of that trial and error process. So if you're not exactly sure, give yourself a week or two to figure out, okay, let's give it a shot. And if not, we have to revise it really, really early on. Third most important part of this episode and this breakdown to how to actually achieve a goal is commitment. Not only commitment, but what is behind commitment. What's behind commitment is passion. You have to be passionate about something to achieve it. If you're going to set a goal and say, I'm going to switch careers because I need to make more money for my family, it's not going to happen, because you're not passionate more so for the reasons that entice you and get you going as a human being and your spirit and your soul as a professional. You can't just be completely dedicated to your family, as important as they may be, because if you're not taking care of your own personal and professional needs, you can't take care of other people's. Now, that's just an example, but again, for me, I'm very passionate about my physical fitness journey because of the fact that I am blessed. I'm blessed with health. That's number one. I have complete gratitude, and often it shows up in my everyday gratitude practice that I am just super grateful that I'm completely healthy. I have all my limbs. I have literally zero ailments. I have no health conditions. And I'm also blessed with a pretty fast metabolism. So while gaining muscle is a little bit harder, I don't really have to worry about too much gaining fat. So just make sure the goal you set out to achieve, that you have passion and through for it, because at the end of the day, the commitment of every single day has to be there. For me, if I'm only committed 4 days a week, and then Friday I just can half-ass my workout, and then Saturday every once in a while I just take off, I'm gonna miss the mark. I'm not gonna achieve it. The last process revolved around actually achieving your goal that you really need to embody is having the right mindset. There's a couple different ways that we can develop a really healthy mindset about achieving some big audacious goal. And the first thing I'm gonna talk about is the sliding scale. You see, when most people make a mistake in whatever pursuit that they're on, they feel as if all the progress up to that point is null and void. Oh, I had a cookie, forget it. My diet's done. You know what? I'm just gonna binge and I don't care if I get in shape. What happened the last 3 months? You were perfect. You had a perfect diet and you had one cookie? What does that do? Well, all that does is, going back to the scale, is that changes your trajectory one notch. So if you're moving forward for 3 full months and you get all the way over here and you have one cookie that puts you here, that doesn't mean that all of this is null and void. It just means you had a cookie. But it's really, really important to understand that, because psychologically it goes back to the same thing that we see online. If someone writes a negative comment on something, I'm gonna be so focused on that negative comment, not upset, but focused on it, versus the 20 other positive comments that would happen, or something like of that nature. And what happens at this actually really helps to avoid the dreaded, I'll just start on Monday line. Have you ever caught yourself saying that? I'll just start next week. I'll just start at the second quarter. I'll start next year. If you really understand the sliding scale, you'll know that there's no point in waiting. It's an arbitrary day, it's an arbitrary time. Start now and start moving that scale in the direction you want it to go. The last thing I'm gonna say regarding mindset is to not underestimate the time that this may take. Yeah, we went through the Smarter Goal framework and you set your arbitrary time that you want to accomplish this goal by, but you don't know the road ahead. I don't know, on my fitness journey of gaining 20 pounds of muscle, I don't know when my body may plateau. I may be on a perfect scale and not see any bumps in the road, but I may get up to 163, or 13 pounds more, and then just hit this plateau, right? I mean, I just went through one. I was trying to cut calories and be in a deficit to see where I can get my lowest body fat percentage, and I kind of hit a little bit of a plateau. Granted, I didn't deliberately give myself more time than I probably should have, because at the end of the day, I knew I had to actually gain more muscle when I was going to start this journey, but it was more of an experiment, and within about a week or two, I kind of think I started hitting a plateau. That could very well happen with my weight gain journey. We don't know. Building upgrade is something that is taking much longer than I thought, and that's okay. And this is kind of a weird example because of the fact that I know very much so how long something like this takes, because of the fact that I have been involved in online entrepreneurship for many years before Upgrade. So I understood all the work that goes into it and all the work to plant and harvest the seed before the plant actually grows and pops through the surface. So that's it for today. I hope you are able to implement at least one, if not all of these strategies when you're trying to achieve and actually set and follow through and achieve your next goal. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then hit the like button. Definitely consider subscribing if you're not already. And please hit that bell notification so you can be notified every time I release a new video. And moving forward, I definitely will keep you updated randomly throughout my fitness journey, because again, there's no better way to prove to you that ritual design and building custom daily routines is in my world, the end all be all to actually developing yourself as a person and achieving goals. So I'm going to walk you through this process with me. I'm going to keep you updated, and maybe I'll even show you some pictures, right? Now, what you may be trying to set may not be an actual goal. It actually may be a domain of your life that you want to work on. For instance, I want to achieve a goal of gaining 20 pounds, or I want to live a vibrant and fruitful life. That may be a domain, and there are specific ways to actually work on a domain. And if you're wanting to check that out, then you can watch this video right over here.